Good evening. Welcome to All or Nothing podcast. And tonight we're going to have an interesting show. I'm here with myself and my illustrious co host. And we were supposed to have some guests, but hopefully they'll join. Or if they not join, hopefully they're safe and sound.
Mhm.
I know life's at the end of the day, and we understand that sometimes people can't make it.
That is, yep.
But this conversation we're going to have tonight is men's vulnerability being weaponized against them.
Yeah.
When you look at this title, you kind of try to figure out how the heck could a man's being vulnerable be used against them.
Hmm.
And I got you, Nicole. So you ask yourself, how could a person's vulnerability
Be
be,
weaponized.
be weaponized against them?
It's that good old having shit thrown back in your face, right?
Mhm,
You trust the person, you open up, you
mhm.
share, and sometimes when arguments happen, right, people want to hit below the belt, and your shit comes back up.
Mm.
And we hear men talk about this a lot, and it's interesting. You hear a lot of men talk about being in situations where they've trusted a woman in particular, right? Trusted other men too, but trusted a woman, um, been vulnerable, which many men talk about being emotionally vulnerable is extremely hard for them to do. So they've opened up, and then in a fight, it's nigga, that's why you can't pay your child support. Your
Hmm.
baby mama ain't, he don't like you. I mean, and on and on and on. So yeah.
So a lot of us, a lot of like you said, Viv, a lot of men in particular, and this is a man's topic directly,
Hmm.
and I'm glad that you want to be here. And it's funny because we have two of our guests are women, and I think that both of them, if they're able to come on, they both have really good insight and perspective.
Hmm.
A lot of men, for lack of better words, will feel this way because
Yeah.
maybe. Um, a situation in the past, I mean,
Hmm.
you could word it as trauma,
Hmm.
you could word it as very guarded. So when they do start to open up, they could, like you said, they could feel like the person they're with is using that as like ammunition.
Yeah. Yep.
Like you got one up on me. Like you said, one of the issues could be the child support.
Hmm.
One of the issues could be you might not have a high paying job.
Hmm.
So it's a
Yes.
twofold. So we got to our guests. I
Okay.
know I know Lorraine said her camera's not going to be on. Lorraine, you there?
I'm here.
Okay.
Hi.
Lily, you
Hi, how
there?
are you?
Lily's Lily, you there?
Yeah, this little laundry. I'm here.
Okay.
I don't
I'm
know if
getting
I'm still talking, but I'm here.
yeah, I'm getting kicked off the computer.
Q, you hearing a little feedback or something weird? Okay.
I told her. So um we do have two of our guests. So when we talk about this subject, and I know a lot of men, so we got a couple people that's in the comments, and it's important that the people that's in the comments that's men
Hmm.
explain this situation that has happened to you, or if it's happened to you. I'm quite sure you got friends that has happened to you. It's three women here, and they may be able to explain if they've ever done it or if they were ever accused of doing it, because sometimes you can do something and that's not your intention, and it just comes out that way.
Hmm.
Smoking Bro says most men don't share because we are afraid of looking weak. If you can get a man to open up and you throw it back in his face, that man will never fully trust you again.
That's a good point. I think that's Marcus. Hey, Marcus. Yeah, that's a good point. Q, can you speak to that a little bit? Because I hear that a lot, right? Like if a man feels that they're in a situation, they open up. If it's thrown back in his face, it's like a clam. They close right on back up. Has that been your experience?
Well, I will share. I will share on this topic.
Okay, thank you.
Um, that is absolutely true.
Okay.
That is absolutely true, and it is a level of trust. It you know, it's a level of intimacy.
Hmm. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like if he's because he's confiding in you, he's confiding you. It is part of a man's makeup of manhood. He's
Mhm.
confiding in you. He's telling you something very intimate
Yeah.
and is dear to him, and it can
Mhm.
be something small. And
Mm.
throw that up in his face. Like he could have
Yeah.
had an issue with his mom. He could have had
Mhm.
an issue with his sister. He could have an issue with his friends. And if
Mhm.
you throw that up in his face, he may not show it, but it's gonna go to the back of his head. Like, oh, okay, I
Yeah.
can't trust her with shit.
Mhm. Interesting. Yep.
And
Okay.
eventually, if he's at a certain age or maturation, he may be able to tell her, be like, look, remember when I brought that up
Mhm.
and you threw it up in my face? He's gonna say exactly how he feels. Yeah, Marcus, trust is a form of intimacy.
Yeah. Yep. Absolutely.
Good evening,
Good
Nicole.
evening, Nicole.
Hi there.
All right, we got Demarcus here too. Hold on. Lorraine, do you have
Yes.
something you want to comment on with that?
Yeah, so I'm gonna go on the other end of the norm, and I feel like it's a it's more of an issue for me when I don't get that vulnerability.
Mm,
Okay.
okay.
For me, it's like I don't know if maybe it's just because of the person that I am, maybe it's because of the experiences that I've had, maybe because of my profession and mental health and stuff like that. But I can tell you from a very young age, I was always interested in the more vulnerable side of anyone, not just men, but
Mhm.
growing and experiencing and kind of wanting to know about people and wanting to know who they are and their story and where they came from. Me wanting vulnerability to me is the most masculine thing a man can do,
Thank you.
in my
Absolutely agree.
opinion. If you can tell me right now that this hurt your feelings, I would never say, "Oh, you a bitch ass, this, that, and the third. You was out here." I would never. I feel
Mhm.
like, especially with age, I'll keep it at our age bracket because younger people, it's a little bit more difficult for them, and they will look at it more as a throw it up in your face type of thing. But I feel like the most masculine and safe thing a man could do for me, and I'll even pass it down to my daughter, is to be vulnerable and to be able to tell me, this does not sit well with me. Yes, I had an issue with my mom when I was little. We didn't get along. She had a drinking problem, this, that, and the third, because that way I will know how to handle you, not even as my partner, but even if you're my friend and you express that to me, I would know how to deal and be able to talk to you. Oh, well, that explains it. That's why he's this
Mhm.
is that. So let me be more sensitive with this and let me be more sensitive with that. And I think men in general don't want to share because, like the person said, it's a kickback. It tends to be. It can be a kickback, but I think it really just depends on the person. And unfortunately, there's more people that would rather throw it back in your face than to just embrace what you've told them, embrace what you've shared with them. So that way they know how to handle you. They know how to treat you. So I just feel like if there were more conversations like this, perhaps women would be able to see and understand that men are human too. Men are human too. And more importantly, men take on a lot more. They've been through. I'm not taking away from our women. I'm just saying, men are taught to shut up, man up. It's what it is. Don't cry about it. What you crying for? All those things. As a boy into a man, you carry that, and then when you become a man, you have all this stuff that's suppressed, and your person, your partner, whoever you're with is supposed to help you unpack that, which I feel like is extremely unfair.
Mm,
Whereas if you can really just get to the root of the problem with the person, then moving forward, again, whether you're friends or you're trying to be in a relationship, and you're comfortable with dealing with whatever trauma it is that they've had. I love to share my trauma, and I'm not trying to say that like um I like attention. I don't like it. It's not that I like attention. I want you to know this is why I move the way I move.
Mhm.
So if I have to be that person to say, listen, this happened to me as a child, so this is why I don't like this. I'm working on it. Please don't hold that against me. I really am. I'm human and I'm working on it. I would absolutely appreciate a man to come to me and say, listen, this is what I had to witness as a child. Please don't hold it against me why I move the way that I move, because I'm working on it. You know what I mean? So for me, overall, I want the vulnerability, and I feel like throwing it up in somebody's face is the absolute is a disrespect. It's a disrespect to the fact that they trusted you with information that they didn't have to give you, and they have no regard. So anyone that's willing to do that freely, they would have to look at themselves. They would have to look within themselves, like, why would you want to be that type of person to hurt somebody when they shared something so intimate or so personal with you?
Mhm.
Wow,
Excellent point.
you gave us a lot.
Okay, I'm done.
Lily, I think you have feedback from your phone.
My phone. There's feedback, you said?
Yeah, it's coming back.
Oh my goodness. I don't know.
You have any
Um,
headphones?
no, I don't actually.
Yeah, I can get
Um, okay, let me log back out and log back in because I do have something to say.
Okay.
Let's try that. Okay.
So,
Yeah.
Lorraine said a lot there, and it's a lot
Mhm.
to unpack. It's a
Mhm.
lot for the individual a person like Lorraine that would be trying to come in her life. They would have to have a conversation very, very early in the communication aspect.
Mhm.
They would have to be able to talk, because if he's guarded and he's got a lot of stuff going on, and he been
Yeah.
this vulnerability been used against him, he gonna be guarded with her, and she's gonna take it as an offense,
Right. And
and it's
that's the
like gonna
hard.
be like,
Go ahead, I'm sorry.
okay, where we going with this?
Yeah. And that's the hard part. I actually 100% identify with her perspective. I'm very much like that. And again, I don't know if she's a therapist. Like she said something about being in the mental health field,
Hmm.
right? So that could be where it comes from, right? Therapists are like, "Oh, tell me your feelings."
Yeah,
But I,
y'all
abs-
together with that, Viv.
but I absolutely want that from a man. I do. I think that's the most beautiful thing. Like I will hold space for you. I will absolutely at this point, and I'm glad she mentioned age. I have matured. I will talk about my younger 25-year-old self who had a mouth on her, right? But now I have absolutely matured, and I will absolutely 100% hold space for you. I want to. So for me, getting to know a man, that's a big part of it. Like I need him to be willing to open up to some degree. I'm not saying you need to trauma dump. Like you don't need to tell me everything that's gone on, you know, on day one. Absolutely not. But part of us building a bond is you opening up. I got you, but I need you to open up.
Yeah, I think that most guys, we're gonna discuss this, because this is we done got some stuff here. But Lily, you and
Yes.
Nicole are both still here. Can you hear me good now, Lily?
I can hear you good. Can you hear me good?
Yes,
Yes,
no kickback.
perfect.
Okay.
Great. Do you
All
have
right.
something you want to say about this subject? We have another person that Demarcus put something up, so I don't want you to think I disregarded your comment, Demarcus, because we're gonna talk about what you said. But Lily, you had something you wanted to say?
Yes. I want to discuss throwing in a man's face. So there can be a literal throwing in a man's face, like, yeah, well, that's why, you were, this is an extreme, you were molested when you were little, and that's why you act like that. That's like throwing up in someone's face. But then there's also something like, okay, a man isn't working, and you're like, yo, babe, like, what's going on? It's been like 2 months, and then he gets offended by that, and he feels like, oh, well, that's throwing that in my face. I'm up here, I'm trying to find a job, and then a man can feel closed off because of that. Now, even if like, and that's happened to me, that's why I'm saying this. And even if it's like, a very calming way, like, hey, what's going on? You need help with this job search, et cetera, et cetera. And then he feels some type of way about that because I'm bringing it up. And, I know, you know, at the end of the day, a man, you know, wants to be the breadwinner. But, if you have a woman who's, asking a question and he feels offended, that's kind of like the end of the communication there, because he don't want to hear it. Then he don't want to express himself anymore because that's always going to bring up, oh well, why is she bringing that up? So you know that's another form of throwing in your face, which is not being thrown in your face, but he feels
Mhm.
like I'm throwing it in his face because he feels some type of way about that.
Yeah, I know from like I said, past experience kind of shapes and molds us of how we think today. And I know from, I am a man that happens to be on the panel, right? And we
Mhm.
do have some brothers in the chat. One of the things that in any relationship is about compromise, and it's about knowing when to pick your spots. I mean, I've been in that situation, um, not employed and trying to be in a relationship. I will tell you today, at my age, I would never do that again. I would, I like how guys be in relationship or attempt to be in a relationship and they ain't bringing nothing to the table
Mhm.
financially. I
Yeah.
would never be in that situation again because of the past situation, that vulnerability being weaponized against me.
So can I jump in and ask you a question, because I think she made it.
Absolutely.
I loved what she said, right? Because there is a line there between accountability and somebody throwing your vulnerability back in your face, right? And that's what she was referring to. So, I don't know what the full phrase is.
No, no, no. Bring
Accountability
it,
feels
bring it,
like
bring
being
it.
attacked.
Because
I'm just trying to remember. Like, accountability feels like being attacked when you ain't
no,
ready to be
no, no.
accountable, right?
Because
So I'm just asking for your perspective. Was it stuff being, and I don't know, that's what I wanted from your feedback. Was it stuff being thrown in your
I'm
face
gonna
at
I'm
the
gonna say this, and the brothers in the chat will know exactly what I mean.
time? Okay.
It was being attacked. That was not encouragement. It wasn't healthy. Sometimes you could overlook it, and it's how a person goes about. Maybe she didn't know me well enough. I don't
Mhm.
know. But at that time, I felt attacked. I felt like it was an attack on my manhood. I feel like, brothers in the chat know when I make this phrase, what they're gonna feel like she was trying to make me a kitchen bitch, and I wasn't doing that.
Mhm. Okay.
I wasn't
Can
doing
you?
that. So I removed myself.
Okay.
Sometimes I think that when you see those quote unquote red flags, you got to remove yourself, and maybe I shouldn't attempted to be in that situation that I was in,
That's fair.
but that situation just wasn't good for me. But hold up, I'm gonna put Demarcus' comment up because it's important. How do you feel if the woman is the breadwinner of the house and she throw that in your face? Oh, that
Mm.
was the case.
Okay.
That was the case. That was the case at the time. I wasn't employed, and it wasn't good.
Well,
It
can I
wasn't
ask a
good.
question? I mean, you don't have to go too personal. I just in general want to know, in that situation, because I've seen it done, so I do know what you're talking about. But in that situation, was thrown in your face as in, like, I make all the money, so I tell you what to do? I'm just curious, like, what the
It was
spirit
for
of
lack of better words. You wasn't talking to me nice. There wasn't no respect, and I felt that way. And I,
yeah.
in hindsight is always 2020. I feel as though as a man, you have to have some type of self respect, self worth, in certain situations. And me and you discussed this last week, which is interesting. The dynamic of some relationships, if you don't have certain conversations, will
Yes.
make a person feel inferior or superior, or like you got to pay the cost to be the boss, so
Mhm.
you ain't gonna get the full service. You ain't gonna get the full service if you ain't acting right. So Smoking Bro Marcus said the best thing my father taught me was that it is okay to cry, Many of us don't know how to process emotions like hurt or loss, and we are looking for hold on,
For
we're looking
others.
for others to help us navigate in
A
good
good sounding
standing.
board. Okay, yeah. Now, and this is a tricky part because I forgot who mentioned it, but the fact that if you go through your whole childhood, and it's societal,
Oh,
right?
he's got a question. Demarcus has a question for the
Oh,
ladies.
okay. I'm sorry, I did not mean to laugh. That's a good. That's a
I can't see it. So what does
To
it
yeah.
a,
say?
To a
to a
woman,
woman, does
does
unemployment count
unemployment
as
count
income?
as income?
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, I guess yeah, it does.
Does
That's fair.
unemployment count as income?
Yeah, it's income.
Yeah,
Money in
yeah.
the house. That's fair.
I would say that it does. I mean, not for nothing, but I know plenty of people that, have seasonal jobs that work construction, that are outside, that whatever, and then when the winter comes, they got to shut down,
Yeah,
and unemployment is what they have to bring in until the weather breaks.
yeah,
So,
that's income.
I believe that that's income. Yeah.
Mhm.
Pam checked in. She said
Yeah.
yes too.
Can I say something
Yes, you can.
about the breadwinner thing?
Mhm.
So another situation that I was in. I was, okay, sorry, it's my puppy in my face. So the guy who I was dealing with, he didn't make a lot of money, but I made like triple what he made. Um, so I would come over the house or whatever, and then I would have like a new TV, let's just say, and he felt some type of way about that. Sorry, he
It's
felt
okay.
some type of way about that. He felt like, oh well, you trying to show off because I can't get a TV, blah 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 blah. And I think a lot of well, sometimes it's also the male ego, like
Absolutely.
it's oh you bought this new TV or whatever, or like this so there was a time when he couldn't afford to pay his phone bill. So I asked him, I was like, so do you want me to pay your phone bill? You can pay me back, or it's whatever. And he's like, oh, I don't want you paying my phone bill for me. It's kind of like an ego thing, and I'm not
Hmm.
throwing it in your face. I'm trying to help
Right.
you out.
Right.
So it's could be like an ego thing for some guys.
Hmm.
Um, unless it's like blatantly, saying, "Oh, you can't afford your phone bill."
Yeah.
That's different. But a woman can be supportive, and the man still feels like he's being attacked.
Hmm.
Mm,
Agreed. Absolutely. Q, what's
that's
your
a
thought about that?
that's an interesting concept. I know that.
An interesting concept. What is your thought about
No,
that? You
no,
disagree?
because that's an interesting scenario, Viv. Like
Okay.
because I would think you got to know who you're dealing with. I know for me, I'm just gonna speak for me. Like
Uh-huh.
that manhood, that what you guys call ego.
Hmm.
For some men, and I'm one of those in particular, that
Okay.
if you I've been in situations where the person I was with was making more money than me. That's not the issue.
Okay.
That wasn't the issue. The issue was like, yo, you sometimes you feel like if you're not doing what you really want to do. We had a conversation last week, you guys in the chat and the panelists about 50-50. And it goes back to this. Like
Hmm.
some men are raised, and it's very rare nowadays, that they're raised to take care of everything.
Hmm.
And when they're not in the situation financially to be able to take care of everything, they kind of feel less than what they believe is manhood.
Okay.
Unfortunately, in Lily's situation, what she said was basically, dude was like, "You trying to show off because you bought a TV?" They were like, "Relax."
Right. It was his ego. That's it. I mean, yeah.
So Pam said, "I think animosity comes in if the man is unemployed and home all day, and the woman has to come home and still do all the housework.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Period. Period.
So he should
Period.
have an apron on."
He, I don't care. He could have boxers on, apron, be naked. I'm gonna need you to go ahead and make sure ain't no dishes in the sink. How about that?
I'm gonna need you to make sure that I get home from work and everything is done so that I can decompress from the job that I went to,
That part. Thank
the
you.
insult that I had to take from my manager, from my boss, from my coworkers, whoever, and you are home in our house, I need to make sure that I come home to a quiet, safe, clean space so that I can decompress. Period.
There you go.
Clever girl, reading. I've been seeing your comments, and I didn't get to all of them, but I know that you're married, and you had explained to the dynamic with you and your husband in a couple of comments. But you said when I was a stay at home wife, my hubby
Amazing.
would work and still come home and cook dinner. I'm not good for much. I'm just pretty. You know what's funny about that clever girl reading is I graduated from culinary school, so I understand that dynamic. Like your
Okay.
husband, and I'm just speaking for him. Some people just enjoy to cook. Like it
No.
don't like me. Like titles sometimes really be messing stuff up. People just like to do things naturally, I guess.
Hmm.
Hold
Hmm.
on. Smoke. Marcus said. I keep saying his name on YouTube. Marcus said, if you're unemployed, wash them dishes
Thank
and
you.
cook
Cook
something.
a little something.
Cook some
Thank you.
oodles and noodles.
I wish you would. Make a
Yeah.
real meal, please.
I wish she would too.
So I'm gonna put up Demarcus' comment,
Okay.
and I don't want this comment to trigger none of us,
Uh-oh.
but we're gonna talk. I hear this a lot from
Let
a
me
lot
get
of
ready.
Okay.
um, and I think Demarcus' comment is
Can
perfect.
all of us take a turn answering this or
Oh
respond?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. You can start the show.
I'm ready. Go ahead. Let me see the. It seems like the roles have reversed now. In terms of what? Can he explain that? Just elaborate just a little bit.
Marcus, she wants you to explain this.
Just elaborate, just so I know what I'm like responding to. Have reversed now.
Let me see. What's good for the goose though? If you lose your job, keep the same energy and get in that kitchen and clean that house. I don't want to hear that independent shit.
Oh, the woman. Shut up.
Hey,
uh,
what's up, Gifted? How you doing? So, so,
now I
so
think maybe when he go ahead. I'm sorry.
I know what he means by this, the roles
Okay.
reversing, like quote unquote traditional roles.
Hmm.
Um, I kind of know your answer, Viv. This is gonna be crazy. So, anybody on the panel, Lily or
Why you gonna
Lorraine,
skip over
do
me
you do
though?
you guys feel like society has changed from our grandparents, so the roles are reversed?
Absolutely. Absolutely. But times have changed. Women have more rights, women have more freedoms. A lot of women are like, okay, well, I can do this myself. I really don't need you. I want you, but I
Hmm.
don't need you.
Hmm.
Um, a lot of the work ethic. I mean, it has to do a lot with the economy. The work ethic these days. This is a new generation. Our generation. Well, I'm 80s. I'm 83. So, we my dad, he came home, worked, whatever, whatever. Paid my mother, child support, you know. But nowadays, it's like I don't think that people really care anymore as much as they used to. And it is the economy because things have gotten so expensive. People are just like, F it, like, oh, whatever. So I do think that, and I think that women traditionally have always been the backbone of any family. The father has, or the man or the husband has been the breadwinner, put in quotes, but the mother has always been the backbone, and the woman, the wife, whatever, you know what I mean. Always been the backbone, and she holds things down. And I think that is what the role of the woman is. Yes, the man is. Yeah, don't do that face. I totally agree with it. For example, um, like I've read that there's been times when the husband just comes home, he makes some money and gives the wife the check, and she does all the household chores. The mother back in the day used to take care of the family, hand manage the bills. Okay, that's the backbone. if something happens, yes, it has to go through this back in the day. Yes, it has to go through the husband, but at the end of the day, it's the mother or the wife who's enforcing it, who's having the man's back. So as far as role reversal, women have always held it down, even if it's by themselves or with a man. So, I not saying not downing men, but I think these days men kind of need to step it up a
Can
little
I say
bit.
something? I want to chime in real quick.
Absolutely.
Okay, so um, I feel this is my personal opinion. I feel like women, like, okay, so myself, I have a master's degree, I have all this job experience, I'm a life coach, I have all these things, right? So if I come across somebody who is, let's say, works for the public works of the township, or he's a garbage man, whatever, that would not be an issue for me. I think where I would perk up is, okay, so if I'm making more money than you, fine, but emotionally, are you here to support me? Or are you going to make sure that, listen, I don't like taking out garbage, I don't like fixing things, I don't like, that's not my jam. So if you're not making what I make or more, I don't really think that's necessarily the issue with most. I'll say half, let's say half of the majority of women. But I need you to make up for that in other places. Like, I'm an emotional person. I like to be caressed. I like my bath water ran. I like my feet rubbed. I like to be outside in the backyard and drink wine and talk to my man about the day. Like, I like all of those things. So if you don't necessarily generate the money that I generate, it would be kind of hard for me to realize and understand or notice that if that's getting made up in all these other ways. You know what I mean? Like, if you're emotionally intelligent, if you really do care about my day and I care about yours, if we could have genuine conversation, if we could laugh, if we could have laughter and make each other laugh, and we're not out here dying in debt and you know struggling. I just feel like the dollar signs, for me, and again, we're gonna go back to age, because I would say maybe about 10 years ago, I would be like, no, he has to do this and he has to be that and he has to be that. But now it's just like, listen, if you have a decent living and I just so happen to make more than you, okay, fine. But now let's explore the other things that it takes to have a relationship.
Yeah.
It's not all financial. Like I told you, I'm an emotional person. I need to feel, I need to know that I'm protected. I need to know, okay, you don't make as much money as I do, but if somebody come around here with some BS, my man is going to take care of it. If the car breaks down, I know that he's going to go and take care of the car and I don't have to do none of that. Like, you got to kind of compromise and be willing to give and take, because I just feel like if we all are on that one accord about, oh, he has to make this and he has to do this and he has to do that, that's where we all miss out. That's where we all miss out on the good nourished, good wholesome things about being in a relationship. I feel
Yeah.
like, as far as like the money thing, I think that it's and when he said the roles reversed, uh yeah, I could see that. I mean, especially now with social media, you see all these stay-at-home dads and all that. But at the same time, I feel like if you're a stay-at-home dad, just like I said earlier, I better come home and everything is the way that it's supposed to be. I mean, I have older children, so that really wouldn't pertain to me. But I'm just saying, if for anyone else, like, it would have to be a give and take thing. But it's just, to me, it's just way more than money. It's way more than a financial thing. And I would hope that now, with the times we are in and the way the world is, that people would look at it more from a love and a respect thing than it being financial. Just my
Mm.
opinion.
Good point.
Okay, Viv, I'm quite sure you have any comments on that
I
on the
mean, no, I
reverse?
agree. I mean, I agree overall. Like, yeah, the rules. I guess to some degree, are reversed potentially. I mean, I guess, but like again, at the end of the day, and financially speaking, it's a give and take. And I think it just makes sense that yes, if you happen to not be working and I am working, then no, I am not coming home and well, you know how I feel about gender roles anyway, but no, I'm not coming home and you know, getting in a woman's place. Like my nigga, I'm gonna need you to go ahead and handle that. Like, cause I'm out working and you're not, sir. Like, so that just makes sense. I don't think that's even it's a no-brainer. Now I just want to say something though. So I know we were talking, I'm sorry, who just spoke?
Lorraine.
Lorraine. Okay. So she was talking about, you know, needing the emotional fulfillment, right? And I think that's something we have to talk about because I think it was Lorraine also who made the point before, like when you are socialized as a young boy to not cry, to, you know, shoulder all the responsibility, et cetera, and you grow into a man, you're not really taught. Men and boys are not really taught how to tap into their emotions enough, right? I think society is shifting in a different direction, but now because things are a little bit more equal or even like DeMarcus said reversed, women are saying I can care for myself financially. I need you to show up emotionally. And that's the thing. I need you to be vulnerable. And it's like,
Can you say that again? This is Lorraine speaking. Can you say it again?
sure. We're saying I can care for myself financially. Like I'm 44. I've never been married, right? Guess who takes out her trash all the damn time? I do. Guess who every winter is outside shoveling snow and wiping off her car? I am. I got that. I got that handle. Guess who has to kill a spider or a centipede if she sees it? Me. I might freak out, but I got that handled. I need you to show up emotionally. I need you to be able to be soft with me and tender. Like I need you to hold space for me in the way I can hold space for you. And that is part of the issue. Men are not have not they little boys are not socialized that way. And then men come to the table like, well, I was going to take out your trash and clean your car off. But bro, I got that. I need you to show up in a different way and bring something different to the table. And that can be a barrier.
You know, it's interesting the question. Are roles reversed? And it's funny in the form of what Lily said. I actually think the roles are still the same. I think what has happened now. Oh, excuse me, Viv. You was reading.
Yeah, I'm
What
sorry.
has happened now is the roles are more out in the open, and society has made it seem like these roles were defined. I believe that sometimes things are innate. I know a lot of men who are quote unquote breadwinners, head of the household, and they will give their wife all the money, everything. Look, this is what I'm spending for the week. You take care of everything else. I told you the story I told Viv last week. You guys was I remember forget I needed some money from my grandparents, and they both told me no. But when my grandfather dipped off, my grandmother went in her bra area and she gave me the money that I had needed. So because I believe that women are a little bit more resourceful when it comes to certain things.
Mhm.
Women are going to have a stash. They're going to have something for a rainy day. Not saying a man don't, but I think it's always been that way. Uh, I think that, like I said, I think that with social media, with the way society is, everybody's out in the open. Everybody's out in the open talking about what they want, what they bring to the table. Most people won't say, well, I'm the person that I require too. I'm asking you to bring this to the table, but I'm the same way. And it's interesting that you ladies discussed about the emotion because I don't
Yeah.
think that is conveyed to a lot of men being emotionally available and sometimes with some of the traumas that they've been through, they are they're gonna be a little guarded and it will create an issue
Mhm.
early. So here, oh, we got another one. Oh boy, women
Mhm.
women who make less are often not expected to make it up in other places. Mm.
That's, you know what? He's not necessarily wrong. I remember had to be a teenager. I was like 15, 16, having a conversation with my cousin who said to me, "A man doesn't care if you work at McDonald's." Like, I date a woman who worked at McDonald's. It was, back when people, oh, I ain't women might be like, oh, I care about what job my man has, right? And I've heard over the years other men make that comment, like, men don't care how much money a woman makes, right? But I think that has to do with, and I'm not going to get into all that. That's a societal issue, is how we're socialized. Again, if you're socializing boys into men to take on the perspective of it is my job to provide, right? Then no, a man is not concerned necessarily coming from that mindset if his woman makes less and now she got to make it up. That's for him the way it's kind of supposed to be. Like, I'm supposed to bring that to the table. So he's not wrong in that. He's not wrong.
So let me ask the ladies. Someone else. Lily, you had something you want to say?
Yeah, I want him to tell us, what does make it up in other places mean? What does that mean?
And Marcus,
Because
you got to explain what does that mean? Smoke.
to me, when
I want to piggyback off that question, because what does that mean? Like, I make less, so I have to give you more sex. Like, what is that?
yeah,
What
that's
does
what
that entail?
that's exactly what I'm thinking about. I'm like, okay, well, if I want, to stick it in at 4 o'clock in the morning and I want to
She
sit
don't make
with
as much money as
that's
me, so she
making
better
right.
roll over.
Right, exactly. That's what
But
I'm thinking.
but
Because
funny,
Oh,
okay,
he's
go
saying in reference to
ahead.
this. He says someone made the statement that if a man doesn't make enough, he needs to make it up in other places.
but so I think, though, to the lady's point, right, to our panelist's point,
Here we go, Viv.
that
He on it. He ain't playing with
I'm
y'all
saying that
today.
there is a requirement. If a woman doesn't make enough, there often are stipulations, because what the ladies just named about rolling over at 4 o'clock in the morning, a man don't give a damn if you're a freaking surgeon. You can be chief of surgery, and guess what? You still need to open them. You feel what I'm saying? Like, I think the thing is, what y'all were talking about goes with these certain men's expectations of a woman. Period. It don't matter whether we make less or whether we're bringing in $500,000 a year. There are certain things that for some men come with being a woman. So I think that's his point. All the other stuff is still required. Like, you're still supposed to roll over when I tap you on your shoulder. Like, they ain't got nothing to do with how much money you make, sis. Like, that's just you, my wife, and you feel what I'm saying? I don't know if that's exactly what he was getting at, but I think that was his point. Like, for us, we were like, well, if you're not working, then you need to do X, Y, and Z. And
Yeah,
I think his
we
point
weren't
is,
talking about that part. We were talking about like
right.
other things, not
Yeah.
necessarily sex. But from a man's point of view, it seems like
It's just all
that's what he
encompassing.
meant. Is that not what he meant?
That's what you meant, bro?
You said, yep, yes, as in that's
Sex.
what you meant or
That's
not
what
what you
he said. He
meant.
wanted to roll over 4 a.m. in the morning. Oh my gosh.
So let me ask. Oh, he didn't mean sex.
Okay, he
He
did
didn't
not
mean
mean
sex.
sex. Got you. Okay.
He telling y'all to relax. So let me ask the ladies a question, right? What can we do? I know what Lorraine said, and it was very interesting. What could we do? Because this vulnerability thing is sacred for a man.
Mhm.
This is probably one of his most sacred things. That if he tells you something, if he's vulnerable to you, if he cried to you, like I said, getting on the show, if he tell you some intimate stuff, no matter how big or small it may appear to be, if you throw it back up in his face, how is he supposed to? How are we going to move forward with this discussion where I'm just getting to know you? Why should I trust you like that?
Who wants to go first?
I'll say it real quick, and then I'm gonna let y'all take over.
Okay.
My perspective on that is, the other party can say that too. I'm just getting to know you. Why am I supposed to trust you? Right? I think that's a universal thing. So if that is his, stomp my feet, why should I trust you? Grow up. Like, we both have to earn each other's trusts.
Mm-hmm.
And number two, do it or don't. Honestly, sometimes it's annoying. Sir, do it or don't. Like, either you're gonna come to the table as a grown man, right? I know it's delicate. Guess what? It's delicate for me too. There are things that I don't want to share that I have to share, or that I open up about, and I don't want to either, because you could throw it in my face too. But at the end of the day, if we're going to be here, we're going to show up to the table, then you really have, and as a therapist, I would say this to somebody. Ultimately, the choice is yours. You have a decision to make, and you have to trust yourself enough to be okay either way.
Mm.
That's how I see it.
Well, so me personally, and this is in everyday life, a man, friends, coworkers, I kind of open up a little bit. I don't open up the floodgates. Like I'm not gonna tell you, my past, trauma right off bat. But I do test them a little bit. Like I would tell them a little something, like, a little something that'll see what their reaction would be, and then I would open up more, and then I would open up more or more. And I even noticed that when I date men, I noticed that, they feel more comfortable with me, and then, they open up a little bit more, a little bit more, a little bit more. And I think that's how people should uh, act in life, because, even if it's like your coworker and you tell them something and then, oh my gosh, it's all over the office, you know, just open up a little bit, see if you can trust that person. And sometimes it's hard to do because, we're in a society where you don't, you, there's nobody really to talk to, and you really want somebody to talk to. But you know, it to me it takes time to get to that level of me opening up and being vulnerable to somebody.
Okay. Okay. Lorraine, you have something you want to add?
I think the only thing that I wanted to add is that we're going to go back to age, because let's just be honest. Everyone that's tuning in right now we're 40 and up, I'm sure, right? Okay. So I just feel like at this age, the whole guarded and, oh, I had this and I had that going on. I think it's it's a little bit to be done with. Like, we grown, okay? We're grown people, we're adults. If you have something that you want to express to me, I want you to be able to trust me and I want to be able to trust you. But at the same time, like, we're on time here. It's time. And if we're dating and if we're really trying to get to know each other, all of that, oh, well, I did this and I had this trauma and I had that. It shouldn't really be hard. It shouldn't be hard for you to express, even though I know that it could be. But at the end of the day, put it out on the table. If you are in fact looking for love, you're looking for your life partner, you're looking for somebody to spend the rest of your days with, you're gonna have to and trust the process and say, this is what I went through. God, I really hope she don't throw this up in my face. God, I really hope he doesn't throw this up in my face. But at this age, what do we got to lose? What do we have really to lose? Like, if I tell you, like, I have a trauma from my childhood, and you throw it up in my face, as a life coach and everything, yes, I'm a little bit more desensitized to things. So I don't take a lot of things personally and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, it's still where you're grown enough. You should be grown enough to be able to be like, you know what? I was hurt. Somebody hurt me. Somebody hurt my feelings. It made me feel this way in my life. And this is that. Men, unfortunately, they have it a little bit harder because they're supposed to have this hard exterior, but I'm going to just keep going back to age, because we don't have time to be trying to figure you out and figure out why you're this. Oh, and why he's acting like this. And oh, we need to be able to have adult conversations, and for you to be able to say to me, a potential person that you want to spend your life with, or that you already are spending your life with, this is what happened to me. And it made me feel like this. And I'm trusting you with this information, and pray to the gods that you don't throw it back in my face. But it has to be that. It has to be that way, because at the end of the day, you're gonna keep dancing around your trauma, and then you're gonna bring me with you. I'm gonna have to keep figuring out why. Oh my God, why is he acting like this? Why does he keep accusing me of cheating on him? Why does he always say this, that he doesn't want me to leave him? Why is he doing this? I'm gonna have to deal with that. I'm gonna have to wear your trauma and figure you out, instead of you being an adult and saying,
Yes.
no, this is what happened. And this is why I'm like this.
Mm-hmm.
And I need for us to be able to be on the same page about it, because I want you to know I care about you that much, that I want you to know what's going on in my life so that we can move forward.
Beautifully said.
Tommy, you took me out with this one. You
Tommy.
ain't lying. Them
That's what
old singers, boy, they meet each other, they get married
they
immediately.
said. Listen, we
They
ain't
don't
got.
be playing. They be like, listen, be
Just
like, damn, you
saying.
just met us 6 months ago. What I'm waiting for?
Okay.
Okay. Okay.
Can I say something?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Don't be shy. Don't come on here acting
Uh,
shy.
no, I okay. I've had a lot of trauma in my life, and as I said before, like I trickle it in, and I don't know if there's like a time frame, but if I'm on like the second, third date with you, I'm not gonna tell you all my trauma.
No.
Mm-hmm.
Like
No, and
I
you shouldn't.
could,
I agree with that. That
uh,
you should not. The first, the second, third date shouldn't be a trauma thing. But if you're 6 months in,
oh yeah, absolutely, I agree with
yeah.
that. But I thought you was talking about like like the third date, you tell
Oh
them
no, no, no,
X,
no, no,
Y,
No,
no,
no, no,
Z.
no,
no, no,
Oh, okay,
no.
no.
okay.
Yeah,
Let
we
me
don't want
clear
to
that up.
trauma
No.
dump, but as you get to know, no, yeah, absolutely down the line. So Marcus just had a good comment, and this is the thing. People have to figure out exactly what their trauma is, though, in order to address it. And again, it's hard because it goes back to if you are not, and this is men and women too, but if you're not,
Aware.
yeah, thank you. I the word left my head, but thank you. If you are not tapped into what counts for you as trauma, what has shaped you, then you're not able to bring it to the table. And I mean, honestly, in a dating situation, then a person has to, man or woman has to make the decision whether or not someone is has the capacity, right, to open up emotionally as we might require. I mean, at the end of the day, you might have to leave somebody where they are because maybe they can't do it. They can't identify what has affected them and shaped them. So, but yeah, that's a good point, Marcus.
Viv, did you? I didn't even ask you. We didn't even have this conversation behind the scenes about questions. We just been going off our limb, right?
Well, you know what? Funny enough, though, the questions that I had were going to be for the men. It really isn't a ton of questions. It was going to be for the men. So one thing I will ask, since we have the women on the panel, has anyone ever weaponized their partners, maybe, or even a male friend's vulnerability or like private information against them
I
in the heat of the
surely
moment?
did. I surely did.
That's honest.
When I was younger, now I'm more like emotionally mature, but
Hmm.
when I was younger, I would say, your dick, your, you know, wait, can I say curses and stuff on here?
Have you heard my mouth? Go right ahead.
Okay. So I could say, oh, well, that's why your dick was little, or that's why, you came too fast, or something like that, and that's, I mean,
Yeah, it's real. That's
sometimes
real.
sometimes you're angry at somebody, and the
Yep.
only thing that will get they could be saying all this stuff in your face, yelling in your face, and the
Hmm.
only thing that will shut them up will say something like that.
Hmm.
So yes, I have. And do I feel bad for it now? Yes and no.
Okay.
Because I feel like in that moment, yes, he deserved it, but at the end of the day, like he really doesn't. Like I could have handled that a certain way, but that has to do with emotional maturity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my God. That's what I was just about to
You went
say.
straight for the jugular vein with that one.
The emotional, the emotional maturity part is what I was gonna say, because
Yeah.
I have said some things. I've said horrible things
Mm.
to someone that was very close to me, and although I felt at the time they deserved it, and I
Mhm.
felt like you did me so dirty, you did me so wrong, like there's nothing that I could say right now that'll probably make you feel worse than I do.
Yeah.
But
Yep.
but looking
Try.
back, looking back and being the accountability person that I am,
Hmm.
when I realized that, damn, that was not nice. No matter what they did to me,
Mm-hmm.
no matter what, I should have never stepped out of myself to say
Yeah.
hurtful things. I mean, and when I say hurtful, just use your damn imagination. Hurtful things to that person. And I couldn't sleep at night.
Mm.
I couldn't, I was messed up. Like, oh my God, I can't believe I said that. And
Yeah.
so I feel like, yes, I've said things like, you ain't shit, you ain't gonna ever be shit, I'm taking care of, and all that good stuff that people say,
Yeah.
bad stuff that people say. But being able to recognize that
Yeah.
and being able to try to redeem yourself, whether
Mhm.
they accept it or not,
Yeah.
I think is the bigger picture. Yes,
Mhm.
we've all said things to people that we don't mean, and that what we wanted to hurt them. That was the point,
That was the
to hurt
point.
their feelings,
Yep.
right? But
Yep.
to be able to acknowledge it and say, yeah, I said that and I messed up and I shouldn't have said that, I
Yeah.
think that is the more important thing
Mm-hmm.
for anyone.
Yeah. I
Well,
agree.
And you
I
know, oh, sorry. Go ahead.
no, go ahead.
And,
I'm gonna put Tommy's comment up here.
oh,
He's asking the ladies something, so
Okay.
we don't want to
and
turn it into
you,
the
you
ladies
know what's
show.
you
We
know what's
do what we
crazy
do.
about you know what's crazy about that, and I'm just now that I'm on a panel, that could be the cause of a man's trauma.
Hmm.
Mm.
And I'm feeling some type of way because I'm like, damn, I should have called somebody to not
Yeah.
be vulnerable or take offense or
Mm-hmm.
be guarded.
Mm-hmm.
Now that I'm, speaking about it,
Yeah.
and I have apologized to some people because I felt like, damn, if somebody said that to me, I would be hurt.
Yeah.
And I know how it feels to be hurt. Like if somebody said something to me, like damn, oh gosh.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's what I was saying.
Yeah. No, that's a great point. That I hadn't quite thought of it like that because I know younger me, whew, my
This next
mouth, man, was
this
mean.
next comment came when you were speaking, Lorray.
What
So I
is
don't know
it?
if Tommy's speaking to you directly or he's speaking to all the ladies.
Deserved it. How you going to sit up here and tell men to be more bold and then say deserve? Okay, so I'm going to answer that. I'm going to let Lorray jump into because if I don't know who the comment was to, but I think I think I understand what her point was. She was talking about having been in a situation where someone had done her so dirty, and in the anger at the time, she felt justified in what she was saying. Now, that doesn't mean now accountability steps in and she has reflected on the fact that, okay, no one deserves to be talked to like that. But at the time, I'll own that too. I've said some mean shit. I had a horrible mouth back. 25-year-old Viv, I'll talk about your mama, your kid. I don't give a shit. I'll talk about your dick. I don't care. I lay it all out. I didn't give a shit at all. If I felt like I was cornered or attacked, like, oh, you want to hurt me? I got you. In that moment, did I feel like it was justified? Absolutely. Have I since apologized? Yes, I have. Because again, like the ladies were saying, we're older, we're more accountable, we've grown. But yeah, I think that if and correct my interpretation, if I was wrong, but I think the deserved it comes from at the moment, yeah, you felt you were justified in saying it. Oh, you gonna hurt me? I'm gonna hurt you too. What's happening?
Viv, I have a comment directly for you.
Okay, come on. Hi. Yes. Well, damn, Craig. Okay, but yes. But did I clear that up correctly, y'all?
I think you did. I mean, the point is to always give clarity
Mhm.
if anything. Okay. Uh-oh.
But again, we are talking about our past selves here, okay, guys?
Hold on. Hold on, Viv.
Okay. I was sometimes okay. Yes.
So let me
I could
ask you
be.
guys before we close out for the show, and I really appreciate everybody in the chat, and I really appreciate the panelists, Lily and Lorray.
Yes.
Unfortunately, the two gentlemen didn't show up, and I know one of them. He's very opinionated. He's got really good opinions and perspective. I wish he would have been able to come. I know that it's hard a lot when life's, but let me ask you first, Viv, before if our panelists want to speak on it. Where we going now? How are we going to do it? Like I asked the question, what do y'all want to tell us, basically? So
Mhm.
we're at the age where we should be able to communicate, share,
Mhm.
express the insecurities, express our
Yeah.
trauma. So we should be able to be vulnerable.
Mhm.
Do you have anything you want to add?
No, I mean, I agree. I think the only thing I would add is I do acknowledge the factors that come into play over a person's life that makes it difficult for them to be vulnerable. And I'm thankful that I'm at the spot emotionally and, in terms of my maturation where I can hold space for a person. I can acknowledge that. So I get someone can't just jump out the gate, and I don't want him to tell me all his stuff, but I do need him to show up emotionally. But I can also hold space for it. Like, I got you. If you share with me this Viv, this version, I got you, and you're safe with me.
Lily, you still there?
Yeah, I'm still here.
Do you have any final thoughts for us?
Um, I just feel like I think vulnerability is I think it's very sexy to me.
Mm-hmm.
Because not a lot of men do that. And a lot of men are vulnerable to me. Like I've had friends who cried to me. I've had been in relationships where they cry with me because I let a man talk. A lot of men, they're not able to talk. They're silenced because the taboo of, oh my gosh, if I cry or if I say something, I'm less of a man. But I think vulnerability is very important.
Yeah.
I do think that some things do need to be hidden inside, if that makes sense. Like, some things should be kept to yourself. Um, not,
No, I'm just like, take that to the grave. No, please don't.
um, but I do think that, um, transparency is extremely important in a relationship.
Yeah.
And vulnerability is important for a man and a woman. And I think that there should be no judgment, which is sometimes is hard, but there shouldn't be any judgment on both parties. And I think that will um, cause a healthy relationship. That's all.
Okay.
I
Tommy
agree.
said people need to just be open and accepting. If a person feels safe with you, they will share. Men and women both need to feel like they have a safe place to be themselves.
Absolutely.
Lorraine, you have something you want to leave us with?
Um, I want to piggyback off the sexy thing because I think that vulnerability is extremely sexy.
Hmm.
I think that to be able to go there with somebody and go there and express yourself and let them know like this is how I'm feeling. I think that that opens up a whole nother door for your relationship. So for me, it's what I prefer. I know I said that in the beginning. It's what I prefer, but um, I've had most of my clients have been men, believe it or not, and they are looking to go to someone who they can be vulnerable with.
Hmm.
So they purposely want to speak to a woman because they want to cry. They want to say, my mother didn't tell me that she loved me. I don't know what that looks like. I don't know what this looks like, So I feel like that's why I think it's a sensitive subject for me because I know that there's most of the men out there are looking for that outlet. They're looking for someone to be able to they can put their armor down, take the boots off, take everything off, and go and sit with whoever, whether it be a professional or whether it be their partner, and be able to say, look, this is how I feel and this is what it is. And for their partner to be able to receive that and be able to help them like, look, this is such a safe space over here. You have no idea. Will it ever come back? And I'm throwing it in your face. No, that comes back to age and maturity though.
Mhm.
But for me, I just want whoever is listening, men, that there are spaces where you can go and you can be vulnerable and you can talk and you can let out whatever it is that you want to feel. I mean, ideally, it would be great if you can do it with your partner, but also there are other avenues that you can take to at least condition yourself, get all that out the way.
Yep.
That way, when you do meet your partner, you got all this taken care of. This is
Mhm.
all done. You're comfortable with who you are. You're comfortable with what you went through, and you're able to openly express that with the person that you are trying to pursue or that you're in love with.
Mhm.
Yes. Yeah,
Excellent
Tommy,
point.
and that was the whole premise of this conversation, that men
Mm.
should not feel vulnerable with their women. Um, it's a very interesting dynamic that goes on in our society, and we
Yeah.
try to address these ills and these social disorders, I guess, so we could be better. We could be better for
Because
men.
we need each other. At the end of the day, we need each other. We need each other. We need interaction. We need love. We need respect. We need safe spaces. Like, we all need somewhere to go and be able to just say, okay, here I am. It's me. It's all of me. We all need that. People want to try to say that they don't, but everybody who's listening or whatever, yes, y'all do. Yeah, we all do. We all need that space where somebody, or we can go and somebody's going to
Yeah.
be able to receive us without
Absolutely.
judgment, man or woman, period.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yep.
I think a lot of issues we have in relationships, the fact that most times we don't try to be friends and learn each other.
Great point.
So,
That's a good point.
you guys in the chat, you are great panelists, Lily and Lorray. I
Thank
appreciate you
you, Lily
guys
and
for joining.
Lorray.
I'm sorry I couldn't be on, but my son is here and he's pulling my hair and all the other stuff. So I didn't want y'all to have to see all that.
That's
So
that's that's perfectly fine. I mean, you guys were great.
Yeah.
We love everybody that was able to participate, and
I would
Thank you
love
for
to
putting in the
connect with the
comments.
ladies. So Quentin, make sure you send me their information.
Oh yes,
you know
absolutely.
what's funny is y'all know who each other are from that group, so but y'all don't know the
Oh, that's
names and the
funny.
connections. Yeah,
Oh, really?
yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
okay. Even
yeah.
better.
Yeah, y'all are people that are active in the group. So with that, you guys, appreciate you guys. I don't know, Viv. I don't even know your schedule. We ain't even talk about your schedule.
What you mean?
But the next time we're gonna do a show will be with probably in a
Oh,
couple weeks.
it'll be a few weeks because
You want to tell everybody what you're doing, Viv? Why you
yeah.
so
Oh,
busy?
okay, y'all. Look at my page. I'm in a play. It's called "And My Name Ain't Peaches." It is going to be at the Middletown Art Center. It's with Dunbar Repertory, and opening night is Friday the 27th. And then we close on Sunday, October 6th. So we have a show Friday, two shows Saturday, one show Sunday. Then that next weekend, one show Friday, two shows Saturday, one show on Sunday. So please come out and support. I'll try
Can
to
you
post.
can you post it? Yeah, I was just gonna say, can you
Yeah.
post it in the group?
Yeah. Can we post it in the group?
Yeah, I got it.
Okay,
I
Okay,
got
awesome.
it.
good.
Thank you.
All right.
Maybe that'll be a meet and greet.
Oh, I would love that. Yes.
Yeah. You quiet now, huh? Uh
Quentin's like,
With
I
that,
wasn't coming to that, but okay.
with that, everybody have a great
huh.
night and talk to you guys soon.
Bye.